Anyways, what do you think about the Lynx stuff?
Good shit.
Oh, here's Joy. Yo, welcome back, Joy. Sorry, not welcome back. My bad. I invited you on and then I got distracted by other stuff, but welcome to the stream. You're muted, by the way. All right, so what do you think about the Lynx stuff, though, Lalo? And then, Joy, you can share your
Okay.
opinion.
So I think
Yeah.
Okay, Keemstar is basically a scumbag more than I was anticipating. This whole like, oh, she's retarded. I think that's overblown. However, the fact that that's even something that you could be alleged of is kind of cringe. I mean, it's like if a girl, I guess you could, okay, let's say the age of consent is 17 in New York. If Keemstar went for a 17-year-old, you could say that's legal, but it's still kind of skeevy. And so I just think that him going for Lynx is very gross. And this whole open relationship he has with Brantley is very gross to me too. I mean, the age gap is also very concerning because the guy acts very immature. Riz of a 13-year-old boy, damn near. Seems like sexting after the Minecraft movie if it were like recorded. And so that's basically what we were watching, which I find kind of funny. And so the fact that Lynx recorded shows that she does know what she's doing more or less, though she's kind of adult. But she's an adult, and I think Salvo was very unintelligently actually trying to make that point sarcastically. And so I'm anti-Keem. Keem's a fucking retard, and I think him calling Lynx a retard in like a joking way in that like whole recording was actually pretty funny. So that's my basic take.
No, he wasn't saying it as a joke. He was saying like, this is dirty talk, calling you a retard.
Shit,
That's
hot.
weird.
Oh,
No, I'm scared.
really quick, Joy. Really quick. Let me just play the flooding insurance thing, and then I'll get Joy's opinion.
Especially right now.
Dude, I think so too. Bro, I think you would like literally be playing with that clit. Bro, I'm telling you, I would have you climaxing on this Discord if this shit didn't break. It would be so fucking hot, dude. You would be flooding. You would have to get flood insurance.
Oh my god. Okay, now Joy.
Okay, well, I'm gonna say one thing.
Oh.
I would never allow a client to ever text me like this ever. So, and I.
When you say
am a
client,
sex
just
worker.
so everybody knows, you are a sex worker.
I'm a sex worker, and I would not let a client text me or talk to me like this. So,
Interesting.
yeah, I would. This is like so inappropriate. But the only thing I would say is I don't know how long these two have been doing a relationship like this. It's fully inappropriate on any sort of work level, 100%. But him calling her a retard is absolutely out of line on any level, even if there was some weird thing where, let's say, she said she liked it. He should never say that ever. But if she agreed to it, that doesn't mean she liked it. Does that? Because he definitely is in a power position, 100%. So, like, he should not ever be talking to any sort of employee or ex-employee like this, and especially if he has a fiance. But yeah, this is not how you talk to a woman. A girl does not want to hear this ridiculous stuff about like this squirting nonsense that he's talking about.
Yeah, you hear that, Lalo? No squirting talk, please.
It's
Well.
Okay, wait, no. So
I
Joy,
never
have
said flood insurance. I hardly
Joy,
know
I
what
have a
that is.
question. So let's say a girl. I have two questions. Okay, first of all, let's say a guy hits you up to be a client, and he's legally retarded, and he tells you that. Would you take him as a client and take money from him for services?
I've never had this situation. It would really depend on the level of their disability. You know what I mean? Like, I've never had someone ask me that. So, but I have had people that had, physical disabilities, like in wheelchairs and things. You know what I mean? And so, I will see those people because that someone needs to see them. You know what I mean? It's not fair that that them never have a sexual experience in their life. You know what I mean? So there's that thing, but this is definitely him preying on someone who is like he sees himself above her and below him, and that's not right. So I would definitely never prey on somebody. If if I found that someone was not fit to like I don't even like if someone's too intoxicated. Like I want them to be fully aware of what's going
Mhm.
on. Where I don't want to be like a lot of girls will take advantage of guys when they're intoxicated. They get money from them, but I don't like that because for one thing, people are dangerous when they're intoxicated. You know what I mean? But also, I just want it to be a fully consensual thing. And this is not consensual because she is and was and is an ex-employee that he's saying like, yeah, you might get your job back. So that it's never really consensual.
To be fair,
it's
I
a
agree
boss
with you.
praying.
He didn't quite say like if you do this you'll get your job back, but just like, you know, if you worked really hard, maybe you could get your job back.
But it's
You raised
okay. I
connections
don't think
with kids.
Keemstar really. He's a tease like where like because he wants to be all like, oh, I don't cheat when I just do stuff like this. So he didn't really want it to be probably more than this thing. But like she shouldn't have to deal with this on a daily basis of having to flirt with her boss. That should not be a requirement for a job.
Well, he did leak in the call that he had sexual feelings for her while she was employed by him.
No, I can see that. I can see it's obvious he has a huge crush on her, and I can see why he got rid of her was because he can't handle that. Like he likes her more than the fiance, obviously. So I don't know what's happened to the fiance.
Brantley Bros.
Now, what do you think about the fact that Lynx has recently entered into sex work as a legally retarded woman with fetal alcohol?
It really depends on, like they said, there's different levels of retardation. I have a brother who has mental retardation. His IQ is 60, and he is not capable. He's also autistic, and he also has one other thing. I always forget the name. He's my stepbrother. I don't get to see him anymore. He has this thing that makes it he can't speak, and he is not able to take care of himself. So in his situation, like it would be so out of line for anyone to ever be sexual with him. But there are varying levels of autism, varying levels of retardation that,
Okay.
So I would say just because someone might like, because I don't see Lynx as retarded, even though she might mentally have that classification. I can very
Grace does though.
But like my brother is not intelligent. So there is a scale. So it would depend.
Yeah, that's true. So you think it depends on the level of
just because you got that because because did she say she had some sort of brain damage? So like maybe she's not the same as everyone that was born. Like my brother was born that way, and there's no hope with it. So it might be like maybe even she gets where she is able to improve her brain. Like levels of, but where she almost gets like smarter. My brother is not really going to get smarter. So you don't want to just for the rest of your life be like, oh, she's retarded, so she can never have a sexual life, because that's not really fair either.
This is exactly what she said as to her status.
She has fetal alcohol syndrome. They kept saying this, and that she will eventually say that she's retarded and you manipulated her into doing that.
First of all, I'm retarded. I can confirm that.
Wait, they're saying that Grace has fetal alcohol syndrome?
No, they were saying that about me.
Oh. I have fetal alcohol syndrome disorder, and it's severe, and it's essentially a form of brain damage. And legally, I am retarded. I've said this multiple times.
She has fetal alcohol.
Okay, so legally retarded, form of brain damage, severe fetal alcohol syndrome.
In Lynx's case, it's a little bit harder for me to say because I never knew this till today that she had any sort of mental retardation. So I thought she was fully. So she is very, very functional in life. So she might be a unique scenario where, with her, even though she technically has that classification, but there are levels like, I could see where it is fully taking advantage if someone was not able to take care of themselves and they decided to get into this job and it was like their only option, you know what I mean?
Okay.
And if clients saw them, I would think they were taking advantage.
I've done research on fetal alcohol syndrome. I've Googled it for 20 seconds. Apparently, the mean IQ score for a person without fetal alcohol syndrome is about 100, whereas with people with it, it's about 85, 82. I'm looking at different numbers. So basically, when you're an IQ of 82, 85, you're barely not legally retarded. What that means is that you're barely qualifying as like the lowest cadet at the military, cleaning out the latrines. And so she is barely functioning at best, is what we're looking at, Chad.
What's your IQ, Lalo? What's your IQ?
It is very high. It's 133.
If that's the case, then yeah, it's not
What'd
right.
you say?
I didn't know this about Lynx, so I didn't realize that about Lynx.
Yeah, it's tough. Also, Keemstar's not that smart either.
Yeah.
But
Wait, hold on. Lalo, she also, on top of what you just said, that's just for fetal alcohol. She's classified, fetal alcohol doesn't necessarily mean you're legally retarded, but she has a more severe form of it, which also qualifies her to be called legally retarded. You get what I'm saying? It's
Okay,
like
okay.
added on top. Just
Oh, yeah,
having
that's
fetal
not
alcohol
good.
doesn't necessarily mean you're legally considered retarded.
okay, now let's add on to the theory, Grace. So she is 21 years old. Now, where is she mentally? Because you know how people say, oh, you know, he's 30, but he acts like he's 15. Where is she maturity-wise? Because I'm curious what you would say.
Maturity-wise,
Or
I would say she's less mature than my 16-year-old sister. I would say for sure. I think I don't think if Maggie's 16, right? Almost.
I don't know.
She's 15. Okay, well, she's a month away from being 16. If my sister was in the situation she was in, I think she would have said, "You're gross, Keemstar," and ended the call. I think Lynx is more manipulable than my sister at
Okay.
that age. I would say she's maybe at a. It's not that she can't process information. I would say the overall maturity is maybe 13. I mean, you have to think about it, right? She got her nudes leaked, and her response was to make a Patreon with her own nudes.
Well, other
Not a
adults
very
that are not
mature
retarded but quite stupid, like Ava and Ruby, agreed with the decision, though. So
Look at Ava and Ruby. I mean, literal crack whore and dental addicts. Those are not
no,
the peak, like, maturity
don't bring up the past. No.
I still do think that Ava and Ruby are more mature than Lynx, and they should have cautioned her against sex work rather than encouraging her to get into it.
Yeah, well, that is what I do think is with this Keemstar thing though is I think he's been taking advantage of her the whole time, and so it is super inappropriate because he does know her disabilities and he knows he's not going to leave his fiance. He was just like playing with her, and that was her boss, and he's in a power position, and so. Like he is super creepy. Like he is way out of line 100% because he was fully aware of all of her disabilities and everything. So like, yeah, 100% he's a creepy dude. And he should have never done this. And now like, I don't know why people support him in any way because he's just an asshole. I think like this is just not right how he like gets these younger girls to like do anything for his stupid show. It's ridiculous. You know what I mean?
Do you think that she should take action against him?
The only thing that's going to be hard legally is they will say you could have just hung up the phone at any point, as far as with this each phone call.
Mm-hmm.
But he definitely sexual harassment suit, yeah, in the sense of while she was working there. But when she's no longer an employee, it's harder, and they would say you should have just hung up the phone call if you felt uncomfortable. But her disability could get played into there that she's not able to because of her disability. So it could be a lawsuit due to her disability for sure.
Do you think she should at least talk to a lawyer?
If he was doing anything like this while she was working there, 100%. If there was any sort of flirting necessary that where she felt she had to flirt with him to keep her job, 100%. Because I think it was going on for a while because he seems to be super sexually inappropriate with his employees.
Oh, you know what? That's a good point. If you listen to what he said to her, I feel it's very odd to think that that's the first time they've ever had sex.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like
it's
this
so
is
heavy. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's crazy. Like,
Yeah.
let me.
So if it ever happened, if that's like the first thing the lawyer would say, did this ever happen while you worked there? That would be their first. Because if that, then 100% that's sexual harassment. But then once you leave, it gets a little bit stickier because it's like, well, why are you getting involved with a guy who was inappropriate? Just get away from there once you've already left that job.
Mm-hmm.
I know it could get stickier, but if he did this at any level, even close to this on any level where even calling her hot, anything like that, he doesn't need to say that as a boss ever.
Let's watch it just for a minute, just the part that I'm thinking of right here, it just to illustrate how in depth it was, which I do think that's a really good point, Joey.
Oh, well, if he called her retard while she was working there, that's a definite lawsuit too. Like if that was the thing that he was doing while she was working there, yeah, that's no.
Oh,
That's
he
not
did.
okay.
There's a video, there's audio evidence of her telling him that she's legally retarded on a phone call, and he goes, "Oh, I hired a retard."
Okay, then no, yeah, that's 100%. You can get into a lot of trouble for that.
Momo says it's likely she was never an employee. Nobody on Lolcow is an actual employee. Well, I was enrolled in a payroll system where I gave him social security and bank account information, so I would assume she was involved in the same thing.
A lawyer could say, she was, because YouTube gets sticky because it is this new social media thing, but they do have lawsuits now in these situations because if he is kind of in a power position, and paying her on some level,
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. This is the part that I wanted to watch. This part. It's like 5 minutes, maybe 2 minutes.
Sheesh.
I honestly
TikToking
really
is
love
me.
it.
This
It's
is-
way nicer than the black. I only had black hair because he wanted me to
Canada
have black
is
hair.
one-way party, so Keem and New
You
York
know
is
retarded.
in. If you were working for him, though,
Yeah.
You look
might apply in
Yeah,
Canada.
you look
but it's
lovely.
It was after you were fired. Yeah, it was after I was fired.
Completely off right now.
Take the what?
Completely off. Let him hang out.
Open the camera app and scan the QR code.
if she still worked there, this is like easy done. But the fact she's not an employee, if she has
True.
other footage like this when she was an employee,
But what I'm saying is like telling her to take her top off.
it's ridiculous.
Well, you think this is the first time they've had a sexual interaction?
Whoa.
That's pretty extreme, don't you think? Like it could be.
Yeah, no, that's way too much for your first time. You'd be first like, oh, show me a little, and not like he's like full like I'm gonna make you squirt and stuff. That's not like their first talk like that. So if she has one from when she was there,
That's
a
great.
major lawsuit.
Wow.
What is Joy
Probably
doing?
does.
Well, I mean, as a sex worker, I think she has an interesting perspective on this, considering that Lynx just started.
I would put up with that treatment as a sex worker from a client. Like she shouldn't have to put up that in a regular job.
Really, you wouldn't put up with like I don't know how it works. You wouldn't put up with like somebody like saying like, "Can you take your shirt off?" Or is it the tone, or like what do you mean?
Well, here's the deal. In person, yes, I would do things, but in texting or I don't do the video chat things. They want me to. I don't do that stuff because I don't like this kind of thing. But no, I don't allow if you're setting up an appointment with me to start sexting me. It's not allowed. It's just not part of my it's like I'm there for an hour. You don't get to sext me for any time of front and end. It's just not appropriate because I have a regular life. It's not appropriate. It's not right. It's disrespectful, even on a client basis.
Moon says the part where he says that's hot as hell retard is crazy and a prosecutor's
Crazy
scenario.
That's what I'm saying. That's just like everything. There's so many things. You got the sexual and her disability thing there. It's ridiculous. I don't know what he's thinking saying that kind of stuff, especially since she does record stuff. He's an idiot.
Yeah, and also Lala, what do you think about that? He knows. Yeah, he knows that Lynx. Yeah, he knows that Lynx is a leaker. Why would he do this? Like, why do you think?
He's
Yeah,
gooning.
definitely.
That is actually absurdly stupid. That's something a person with FAS would do, actually. That's a
Isn't
good
it
question.
crazy?
She records everything. She's a snake. Yeah, it's crazy.
He
He's an idiot.
knows that.
He's
had her
arrogant.
record-
I'm gonna be shocked if the fiance stays with him.
He genuinely thought that she loved him back. That is the thing. That's why.
He doesn't
That's
love
sad.
her. He doesn't.
Well, you know what I
love
mean. You know what I mean.
her. What, that
Gooner.
she was like so enthralled with him that she
Yes,
wouldn't
yes.
leave
Like,
him?
oh,
Or-
she's not gonna snake me. Of course.
But why? I mean, why? Like that's so crazy. She leaks everything. She leaked everything he ever sent her before.
Now, honestly, I sympathize with Keemstar. I feel more bad for him now because he's like actually passionately gooning. He's a nutter. I don't know what the psychology is behind this though that like makes him so desperate, but I think it's kind of funny.
Has
I
he
feel bad for him
responded at all about this on any platform yet?
Yeah.
About
I don't think so.
Lynx's leaks?
Look up Misunderstood Thorpe. He said he DM'd her as she was doing the stream, and he asked her. He told her like, "I didn't take advantage of you. Don't tell lies." And he also said the main point of our conversation was about rebuilding bridges.
Didn't sound like it.
No,
Doesn't sound like the main point of the conversation. Not when your dick's in your hand. Building bridges.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Grace talks
There's
so
no
much
building
about
bridges once he's like got a hard on. I'm sorry. That's like he's not thinking about like
a
her
bridge from
anything
his
other than-
dick to her pussy. I don't know. Like,
Yeah, the things he said were so inappropriate for anybody that was ever in sort of any boss scenario that you could ever. I just can't even imagine that he talks to his place like that. Like I think he does. Like regularly, that's I'm just like, what the hell? This is ridiculous.
by the way, do you think she has to be worried about him potentially suing her? I don't see how she possibly could.
It is a little bit sticky because it is a private conversation. So I know it's a little bit.
No,
there,
but she's in Canada, which has a one-party.
But maybe they'll have a like the settlement because you know, like because of all the stuff she has against him. I don't even know. It's gonna be tough.
Little drama alert.
But I was very shocked by how he talked to
How
me.
drunk are you?
Looking wasted. You better be too. You better fucking be
I'm
too.
gonna regret this. I'm gonna regret this for sure.
Oh,
Okay, wait. This proves that she's retarded. Because think about it. If you're regretting something and you're also recording it and you're self-conscious that you're doing it, then that means you're just an idiot because the things aren't even lining up right. So that's great. This is bad for Keemstar. That's awesome.
He
Wait,
definitely looks like a
I
predator.
don't know, did I?
Oh yeah. No, she's the prey. She's a professional victim now.
wait, say it again. You think she was acting for the camera right here?
No. Okay. So on one hand, she's performing for Keemstar, trying to get the job back. And then on the other hand, she's recording it cynically. And then she's also saying that she's going to regret it because she's too stupid to process that, like, you're supposed to pretend like you're into it at the same time. So all these narratives don't even line up in her head.
I
So-
see. The narratives are getting confused. Yeah, I got it.
I know I was confused about that. I was like, she is recording it, so it felt like there's a little bit of acting. It seems like, but yeah,
Yeah.
it is a sticky situation.
She
Or
does at a
lawyers
certain
even.
point. She does at a certain point say, what does she say? I showed you my tits to get back into the LOLCal Live universe. And he says nobody would ever believe you.
Yeah, I did hear that. That's not good. That's not good.
Not good.
That is not good for a lawyer to hear that. Like, oh, not good.
100% without a doubt. I'm gonna regret this.
I highly doubt that.
There you go. Is that what you want?
Retard. Oh.
No.
I've already seen them. What are you talking about?
Stop calling me a retard. So degrading.
That
Let me
right
fix-
there.
Let me fix.
That statement by her, he can never say she was comfortable with him calling her that, which would be like his defense on that was like, oh, she liked when I called her that of some sort of level, which no one will believe. But the fact she says that statement, he's done with like, oh, that anyway, that was okay to call her that ever.
Yeah.
She says
True.
it's degrading. She
True.
says the word
Right.
degrading.
Right. Oh, it's bad.
Hold on. You know it's just gonna cover my titties, right? The hair's just gonna.
Try connecting your phone to the TV and then you just play it.
Yeah, that's
Or no. You know what? Hold on. I just gotta help my dad with one thing. Just give me 1 sec. I'll let it play. Dad, just go to your history.
the point. That's the point. To cover them a little bit.
No, I don't have a boyfriend.
Okay, you can see that, right?
See what?
Look what you look like.
Yeah.
Possibly, yeah.
It's fucking hot. That's actually fucking hot, retard.
Why did you hit
Mm.
record?
It's actually fucking hot, retard. Yeah. Let's go. Playoff Keem, bro. He's slick. I like it.
We lit.
Everybody's wet watching this shit. Damn. Moist meter.
You know what's
I like
going to be bad in Keepstar's defense for him is that he gets off on the retard thing. So, like, it is literally his fantasy, which just makes it even more messed up.
Mhm.
Wait, you think he
Because-
actually has a retard thing?
Well, no, the fact he calls her that, he does. Do you get it? Like, the fact that turns him on when he is turned on to say that word to her, that's his fantasy. So that's going to be really bad because then it's like, well, did you hire her just because you have a retard fantasy? I mean, it can get really bad. Do you know what I'm
Oh, so you're saying he's displaying a predilection for mentally challenged people sexually?
And if you look at his show, a lot of people are, I wouldn't say have the biggest brains. So
Yeah,
he
good
kind of
point.
preys on people that are a little bit.
Have you
not-
seen Brantley? So true. Yes.
So it's not going to look good on a lawyer sense where he tries to say in any way she wanted this or she was cool with this. It's like, no, you prey on people that have mental disabilities. And that's not right.
You really think he has a thing for people with mental
The
disabilities?
fact he says it while he's turned on, that's the definition of someone's fantasy. What they say in the heat of the moment.
Yeah, and it also is a way of doming someone because Moon says she said stop calling me that, and immediately after she performs the task.
He also likes to be, he's one of those that wants to be the dom and wants all the girls to be the subs.
Hold on 1 second.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, it proves his fantasy because, especially right now, he clearly has a hard on because he's, drunk and, he's already saying how hot she is and it's a dude. It's how it works. And so, yeah, it's going to look bad that he literally has this fantasy about his employee and stuff, and that's totally inappropriate.
Try doing that. Yeah, try. Why do you need it on the TV, though?
This nigga cannot figure out a Roku, man. It's over. It's over. Jesus Christ.
It's an Xbox, actually.
I actually heard it turn on, too. I thought it was schizo.
You what?
I heard it turn on like 20 minutes ago. I was going to say something, but I'm like, no, that's too obscure. Whatever.
I'm a Queen Lynx.
The other issue with Keemstar is Keemstar he thinks men are way better than women. Like, it's very clear.
You think he's a misogynist?
Very much. By his show, by what he makes the women do versus what, it's just like the things the women have to talk about and the inappropriateness. He just, like, and the way they call each other whores and stuff all the time. That show is a misogynist show. Like, it's not in any way like good for women.
I think it's abusive overall. I mean, first of all,
definitely,
nobody gets to be misogynistic towards Brant, and secondly, I feel like he subjects Boogie and Wings to equally.
I know, and that's the same thing with like those guys don't look like they have the most going on in their brains. I don't know their situation, but. It seems like he preys on people that are not as smart.
I mean, I think he collects a group of people. I mean, every single guy on his shows is fat, which and like, most of them have some kind of mental problem, like a mental diagnosis of some kind of disorder. What is a person who surrounds himself with people like that exclusively? I mean, who's the normal person in the lolcow universe? Who's like the person with self-respect and self-esteem? Wings, maybe, but he drove Wings so crazy that he fucking clocked him, or at least attempted to, and then left forever.
You know what the thing I thought was the grossest thing I'd ever seen was when you had to go to Tina's house, Grace.
Yeah.
I was like, this is ridiculous. Pretty Grace going into this disgusting. I mean, I know we have a messy place, but that's what we got. Glorious issues. But I was like, if they're gonna keep making Grace do stuff like that, that's just horrific. Like, that's just not right for you. You have to like, it
ain't right.
It wasn't a pleasant experience, but like, it wasn't that bad. Like, she's just kind of like brain dead. Like, she's not very different than she is on the show, except like she offered me a cigarette. She didn't really say anything outside of when the camera was on, so. It was smelly and stuff. I was like, this is not exactly Hollywood, but whatever. I mean,
you did.
I just wish in retrospect I would have been able to live stream it because there were a lot of funny moments when like Mike would just tell Tina to do stuff and like she'd do it. It was just so awkward and like they clearly didn't really have a relationship outside of like what he wanted her to do, like a monkey on stream or on video. It would have been cool to see the dynamic behind it. And when we met, it was super awkward because she didn't say anything and I didn't say anything. We just kind of stood there.
Mm-hmm.
She wasn't mad at me. She was just like kind of like socially awkward. What do you expect? So, but she was saying her son just randomly like, give me that, like not on video either, like just being an asshole.
It's not going to look good if Lynx does take a lawsuit towards Keemstar because he does prey on people that clearly have mental issues, and that's not going to.
Yeah, I mean, you get like, I mean, there's so many examples of this. Boogie being on several forms of medication and Keemstar feeding him shots. Becky with the head shave, even if it was voluntary, not a good look. his thing about Miss Hayes, he invited Miss Hayes, who was like kind of vaguely involved in the whole thing, to have sex with him and Brantley, talking like really sexually with a disabled girl who was also it all looks bad. It all looks bad, in my opinion.
I hope she does do a lawsuit because he's getting me in trouble.
Yeah, me too. I've been trying to, but I've been trying to encourage her. But I think she's scared of the whole thing, which I also understand. What was I gonna say though? There's also in her corner, there's DMs between her and Keemstar from just like half an hour or so before the actual call that they had, where she says like, I always wanted to make you proud. I miss being, working for you. I looked up to you as a mentor, blah, blah, blah. So like, it's not good. It's not good.
Being in the power position, he's just going to be so much in the wrong. Like there's going to be very few things that they're going to say, oh, she, is in the wrong because he's in a power position. You know what I mean? It's
At the very least, I think she should like try to go get a GoFundMe going or something. Okay, you're working on that. Okay.
Back so I can see more of you. Look like a fucking mermaid. Look at that.
No idea.
Jesus. I've saved the emo girl. I've saved her. She's like a fucking, like a 9 right now.
Well, if Wings didn't scam me out of all my money, I was gonna go blonde, but thanks to Wings, I can't.
Okay, and then here is the start of the conversation.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Oh, she's wasted. Oh, she's felt it.
Yeah, I look like a mess. I can't believe you tried to refund that. That's so.
You know what else is not right? What he did is he basically said, "You're way hotter as a blonde." So he's kind of, and he even said on the show they would like you better as a blonde. I heard that when I was watching earlier, which right there, you're literally telling your employee to change her hair color for your show.
Well, not
That's
technically
not right.
an employee.
No, but listen, he's saying, well, yeah, but if you come back, he's saying like if you come back, basically like, okay, so if she really wanted to be subservient to him, she would have changed her hair color and gone back on his show to blonde. That's kind of what he was wanting. You know what I'm saying? And so like what they're gonna say is you're kind of trying to persuade this girl to come back on your show, but change her hair color and stuff. You can't tell someone with hair color.
Yeah. I agree. I did just get sent this clip. Let me see what this is.
Send new nudes in the morning.
Oh, okay.
That's the task.
Got it.
We good on that?
Yeah.
I want fresh ass pictures, not pictures people seen before.
Okay.
That's rude.
Yeah. Okay.
That's fucking rude. That's fucking rude.
Lala, your thoughts. Come on, you're not giving me anything.
Suffer, bitch. Well, yeah, no.
Why did you want to come up?
I don't know. This happens to me all the time. Okay. I'll give you this.
Give me the link. Leave me the link.
Leave you the link? What does that mean?
Give me the link. You were like, give me the link. Give me the link.
I was writing to Rose Salvo, and then I guess he's charged his phone and he's crying ever since then. So I guess my job here is done. But as for my thoughts, she got drunker than I was anticipating. There was something I caught hours ago that that was the first time she ever drank, which I doubt. But that's still all gross, right? Because he's forcing her to do this thing. And then where's Brantley in this like negotiation? Wouldn't it like smooth the deal if Brantley's talking and not Keemstar?
No, I think Brantley is going to say I'm not into this. If I had to guess, I think it looks bad that you're cheating on her with cheating, whatever. But like, because I know they have an open relationship or whatever, so they don't have a relationship.
Did you fuck other guys? Do you think so? Not thoughts?
No, they only fuck other women.
Oh, open for Keemstar's benefit.
Based.
No, but actually, it's really weird. You'd think that, right? At first, I was like, "Oh, okay, so he's just like using her, but he's also fucking other girls." Actually, Brantley's into it, and he's not that into it.
What the?
She's pretty lesbian, so she like goes after girls and brings them home, and she has most of the sex, and he is like not really very into it.
Mm-hmm. It's weird.
What's up?
I can't get it going.
Could you take
Self
over?
a bitch.
It's in restricted mode and I can't get it off restricted mode.
Maybe
Yeah,
I have
Joey locked it for you, boy.
Okay. How do you do that?
I don't know. That's just turning it off. I don't know how you reset one.
Well, it has a switch.
Yeah. That's just turning it on and off, though. It's going to be the same thing once it loads up.
Well, kind of.
I don't know. Maybe he could probably tell us how to get it off restricted mode or something. I don't know.
Ugh. Okay.
Okay, I'm sorry. I got distracted.
Whatever. You should just have your dad next to you or something. What the fuck is he doing over there?
He's getting the Xbox going so he can put the screen up on the TV. Okay, he got it working. Okay. There's one main rule. There's one main rule for couples who have threesomes. The guy can't show he's into the third person like he is his main partner. I agree with that. I think that's true.
Very much so. I can speak on that if you want me to.
Huh?
That was crazy.
Yeah.
Do you want me to speak on the threesome thing?
Oh yeah, sure.
Okay. So I do a lot of threesomes, and pretty much, okay. There's a lot of girls that are bisexual, and I am fully bisexual, and I do really like women, but I sexually like to be with men more. But I'm more attracted to women. Like, I like the way a woman looks. So, like, for me to get turned on, I think more about women than men. But I like to be with a man. So, a lot of women are like that because we all are, like, kind of attracted to each other. That's why we hate on each other, because deep down we all kind of are, like, attracted to each other. Girls always are, like, checking out each other. But when it comes to the threesomes, is pretty much most dudes want a threesome. Like, any guy I've ever dated in my entire life has wanted a threesome. And every client I've ever had has asked if I have another girl for a threesome. It's just pretty much what every guy's dream is. So most girls that say they're into threesomes are usually just trying to make their guy happy.
Okay,
that
that makes sense.
Or not, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. But she might like girls, but she doesn't really want to do a threesome because it's kind of weird for one thing to share your guy with another girl anyways. And it's actually a lot of work for the guys. So he might not like it because it is a lot of work and just depending on his cock size, if he's small, he might not be able to handle two girls. So he might not like it.
So I think maybe Keemstar is doing this for Brantley to make her happy, I would say.
I do not think Brantley in any way is going to be happy about this situation. What I was going to say is she might say she wants a threesome, but she doesn't want him flirting every day with his employees or ex-employees. That's not what a threesome is. So, you know what I'm saying? That's a different relation. Now he has another relationship going on.
Well, Joy, can I ask you a question? Because this is a dynamic that's also interesting. So let's say you must be aware of doms and subs, bottoms and tops, right? Whether it's hetero, homo, or whatever, right?
Yes.
Now, say I'm an employer, and I'm wealthy, and I'm talking to someone who I know is retarded, legally retarded, and I know she records everything, and she's half my age, she's 21, and she's been drinking and has also said, like, I don't usually drink. Okay. Aren't I doing isn't this like an almost suicidal level bottom behavior?
I do wonder what he was thinking. I am wondering if he is tired of Brantley, and this is like a way to weirdly get rid of her because I don't think she's going to
blow up
stay.
your life entirely. Is that what you think?
Well, it's like sometimes guys will not get rid of a girl, but deep down they don't want to be with her. And clearly he kind of has a thing for Lynx. And so maybe weirdly he was doing a self-sabotage without, the people do that when
the
they
only way
drink.
he could break up, why wouldn't you just say, like, beat it, bitch?
I don't think he did it on purpose per se. I'm just saying that people will subconsciously self-sabotage.
Yeah, see, I think, for example, do you know the Wings of Redemption thing where he pushes his wife?
I don't know this.
All right, so they had this lol cow camp, and he got into something with Keemstar, and then he, in the middle of it, like pushed his wife and caused her to fall down. See, I think some people will just blow up their situations because maybe there's tension with the wife and he doesn't like the job and he's sick of it, but he doesn't have the social skills to just say, you know what, fuck you, both of you, right? So he creates a situation in which like he looks bad, but it does get him out of it. You see what I mean? And then he just deals with it on the other end.
And on the flip side, if Brantley sticks with him, then he's like, cool, I can flirt with girls all the time. Like, and then he realizes he can
Right, it's
really
like the Bill
push it.
Clinton. It's like the Bill Clinton pass, right?
Yeah.
Once you fucked Lewinsky, like, and she stayed with you, you kind of own her.
Yeah.
But she also owns you, and it becomes this like they become this power couple, right? Like they're literally like everything's about like doming the other one.
Well, and she can't question anything now when he's talking to another girl. It's like, oh, you're okay with this, remember? You know, and it's like
right.
And he pushed it. That's really far. He pushed it as far as you go before they literally were sexual. Because I mean, the things he was saying was all like, I mean, I would charge if someone was talking to me like that.
He said, "Let's get you on a plane and get you down here so I can come on your face like a glazed donut." Now, was he buying her a ticket? No, but like that's
this sex talk is ridiculous. By the way, I have never. Okay, so in my in the room, I hear stuff like this, but I don't allow people to talk to me like that ahead of time, and I don't want to deal with that all day long. Well, but like I've never heard anything like Keemstar's sex talk. That was the weirdest stuff I have ever heard. I'm like, what? Even the fountain stuff he's saying, it's like, this is not what people say. What are you doing, dude?
It reminds me of it would be like, this stuff more belongs in the world of gay Riz. Like,
yeah, it's weird. It's very immature.
Women don't really generally respond well to that stuff.
No, I'm like, if he's saying that to Brantley, maybe she's good if she gets out of this situation, because that was ridiculous. In no way would that turn on a girl. Anything he said, like, no.
I mean, you'd have to be in the midst of the act, and then I think you could say like whatever. But like this idea of doing that over the phone is crazy.
Yeah.
But see, I actually think Brantley is the dom in that relationship. I don't think. See, every dom is also a sub, and every sub is also a dom, right? Like in a certain sense, the sub controls the relationship, right? Because if they want to go to the cops, they can play the victim, right? And we just know that's true.
Well, and they do have a level. Like every sub and dom thing, there is a level where someone says that's too much, and everyone has their different levels. So technically, the sub is in control because they say that's too much. I don't want any more. You know what I mean? Like,
unless you want to ultra dom someone, but then you have to actually like.
Yeah, then that has to be agreed upon
right?
ahead of time.
Right.
You know, yeah.
No, I'm just saying, like.
But even like in most relationships,
you can lock them up. And you get into criminal activity, you can lock them up in a storage container. Okay, like you've dommed this person. You don't give a fuck about their safety.
Okay, wait, Ben, okay, hold on. I have a departing question for you. All right. So do you think, because Keemstar is 40 years old, but he acts like a college guy?
It's called a parting question.
Fuck you. All right, thank you. All right, so then
English language, I love it. I understand that you're.
I'll write it down. All right. So since Keemstar acts so young yet is 40, and he's the one that controls he's the breadwinner in the relationship with Brantley.
Well,
okay. So I want you to answer: is Keem either a sub or a dom? And then in relation to also Brantley, is she a sub or a dom? Given that she also probably has undue influence on a guy who has all the money and is twice her age.
How do you think the dog died? I'll answer that by saying, how do you think the dog died?
I have no fucking idea. I just know that it died.
You know the dog died, right?
I saw it in the thumbnail.
Got run over by a car, right?
Sure.
They live in the middle of nowhere. It's a small dog. She let the dog out. She let the dog, right?
Oh, no.
That's disturbing.
She killed.
You think she would do that on purpose?
That answers it. Okay.
He aborted his child.
Bye.
Oh, really? Really? I didn't know that. I don't know much about that. She aborted his child and everything.
No, I'm saying like the puppy is like in The Godfather where she goes, I aborted your child. It wasn't a miscarriage.
I thought she literally did. I don't know. I don't know their story. I was like, oh, man.
No, but I've seen their interactions before, and they were in a hugely important stream, and she let the dog in. The dog chewed up like the soundboard, and he couldn't get a hold of it for weeks, right? And she knows what she's doing. The dog is out of control, right? A dog generally isn't going to go. He lives in the middle of nowhere. way away from roads, right? So this dog is, you know what I mean? Like what I think is in a power.
She knows what's going to happen when she did certain things with the dog. Like you let it go, it's going to chew up stuff, or you let it go, it's going to get hit by a car, kind of thing.
You got a big house, and you have to let the dog in here.
Well, here's what I would say: she definitely is showing passive aggressiveness because, So, like, if he is the dom, he probably is more the dom if that scenario, because, or maybe she is, like you said, but she's not, doesn't want to be the way he's doing it, because she's doing these things because she's passive aggressively pissed off at him and can't say anything. So she's like, oh, oops.
Yeah. And like, she's the person I think that was responsible for, you said it, getting Grace kicked off the show.
I think so. I think she's jealous of all these girls. I don't think she is comfortable with other women when she claims she is.
Well, she might be comfortable with someone like Tina because it's not threatening.
Yeah.
Like anyone who might in any way, it's interesting because,
Keemstar. I'm totally cool with Tina, so I don't know why you think I have an issue with Grace. I mean,
yeah, no, because we thought in chat everyone was like, Grace is the ultimate host here. Well, they're so perfect. And she was the one little nasty one saying she has no talent. And it's like, oh, okay.
Well, and does she want to be on the show? Is that like deep down? Like, does she want to be?
I think she envies. She envies. I think she has a very hard time being submissive, as a lot of women do. And she wants to be the dom. And so the only way to do that with Keemstar is to be a bigger star. But when she goes on, it flops. It absolutely flops.
I've never seen her on there.
No one else has either.
Oh,
so she can't bear that, but he's kind of like, honey, right? But she insists on keeping coming on. And she gets drunk, and she's just, you look at the comments where she's on. The views are lowest ever, and the comments are unmitigatedly like rip shit towards her about, as far as being, she's a bore. You know what I mean? And she thinks,
I think he got rid of Grace because the longer he kept Grace on the show, the more she would have stole his show. And he realized that, because she only got so many people pulled over because she only got to be on there a short time. But if she had been on there, let's say a year, she could have left and pulled all of his people.
But here's the thing.
She's way more entertaining than everyone else.
In the entertainment industry, if you are, let's say, you're Johnny Carson, and you're bringing someone on who steals the spotlight, why is that bad for you?
I know he's an idiot. I don't even know. I would never watch his show now. I don't know who does. I only watched it for about a week or two. But I'm like, I can't stand watching those two people. It's just it's sad to me. Like it's weird. Like they're just like hurting each other or doing these weird things. It's weird.
And over and over again, the same thing, the same punishment.
I only watched it when Grace went on there. I didn't even know about it. And Grace went on there, and it was very entertaining. I remember that it was super entertaining, that however long she was on there for it.
And here's the interesting thing. They were launching a show, right? So when Grace was on there, it got 60, 70K views. They're down to like 20s now. It's been a steady decline.
Good. They deserve it.
No.
He's an idiot.
I mean, you would have to be almost like mentally handicapped to find it interesting. Pie in the face, shave the head, shave the eyebrow. I mean, or kind of like mean-spirited. Like they really do sort of hurt each other and yell at each other all the time.
When I saw Grace on there, it looked like having this beautiful, really nice girl amongst these like monsters. It was just like the other women were just gonna just prey on. Just attack her, and then the only other person that was decent on there was Lynx. But then, we find out, that Lynx has all these issues I didn't even realize. So that was like he really was preying on. And the other thing is, Grace is literally not stupid enough to be on his show. That's deep down, and so that's going to make him look really bad.
But she volunteered basically to say, Keem, give me the creative control. I can run a show. I've got lol cows galore. You don't even have to do anything. You know what I mean? And everyone
can't handle that. He's the control freak. He can't handle Grace being. She would have been the star, and she would have been more important than him. And he's short, so he's super insecure. It's that Napoleon.
But you got to be so insecure that you're saying this girl's saying, "Give me the keys. I'll run the whole thing. You get half the money. I don't care.
Because
And
that's
you
what's
go,
that's
"No."
crazy about Keemstar. He is more insecure than greedy.
Right. That's right. Well, look at what kind of can you imagine a businessman coming back to his wife and saying like, "How'd it go, honey?" And you go, "I had a meeting with a retarded girl that used to work for me. She's half my age. I did it publicly. I was talking about maybe giving her job back, and I made an amazing amount of lurid comments, all of which I knew were being recorded." What kind of a woman would like? Wouldn't she just crank him in the
But she
balls?
would first say, "I hope you were intoxicated." Like because
But even still, drunk is like when you're drunk. That's when the real you comes out.
Well, and here's the thing about when you are a boss, you can't just pull the drunk card because sorry, you're talking to employees or ex-employees or employees that might be future, because he's talking about future business with her. You should not be wasted on any level. She has a right as an employee while she's home at her own house, but him talking to his employee on any level while either of them are intoxicated is inappropriate.
I ran a business, and like it just never occurred to me. I mean, there were women or whatever, right? Like it just would never occur to me to cross that line. It's so crazy.
The things he's saying, I would definitely charge for guys to be saying that stuff to me because there's that sex thing you can charge, but I don't even like dealing with that because honestly, it is so much creepier when it's coming through the texting and stuff and through the FaceTime than like in person. It's not as creepy. You're in the moment, whatever. Like none of that. But when someone's just sexting you, it's creepy. And when it's coming from your boss, even creepier. And I had that before this job when I was in real estate, and I had a boss that wanted to have an affair with me, and I did not like him. I literally hated him. He was my least favorite boss, and we were on such different connections. I didn't realize till the day he asked me to have an affair. And then he treated me like shit, and I quit, which I could have done a lot, but I didn't care. I was young and get out of there.
But also, texting it is so stupid because
I know. Talk about like
phone.
At least when you're both in person, you can literally see if there's a camera or anything else going on. Right. So this is like he's an idiot because anything over FaceTime and anything that's like written down or on a video.
Well, and she's notorious for recording everything, and she says it out front. I record everything. So
this is the beautiful thing that happened. This is the beautiful thing. He literally has a really big thing for Lynx, and he let his small little head down there think before his other one up there, and he got caught in the moment because this is a stupid move for anybody to ever make, even if just having a fiance alone. You know what I mean? Like it's like unless you want your fiance to leave you, or be really pissed off.
Yeah, maybe that's what I think. You ever heard of suicide by cop, where sometimes someone will just say like they're desperate, like they don't commit suicide, but they force the police into a situation where they get shot because they want to end it. You know what I mean? So they come at a cop with a knife. They know the cop's going to pull a gun and blow their brains out, but they do it anyways instead of just killing themselves, which I think sucks. But like this is kind of like YouTube suicide. I
was shocked today when I saw this. The other thing is I think it's kind of like it's like the final straw for him because the problem is Keemstar hires so first he hires the bigger people, but then clearly like Lynx and Grace he was hiring because he was attracted to them. And once they both left, he got really insecure and they really hurt his feelings because he is not a confident man. He's and
the numbers went down, which he's really ego driven. Every single show we've done it before, the graph looks like this,
So he might be kind of like
keep dying the same old death.
He's on a like.
Then his dog died, right? And instead of addressing like maybe that like it was her, Brantley's fault, he doesn't address things. So then he's drinking. Then he sees Lynx's nudes. But see, this is the part I don't understand. Then you call her knowing, you know what I mean?
That's where he was so turned on he couldn't resist calling his ex-employee who he just for the first time saw her naked. And she has a very good body. I didn't see the things, but I saw a little bit to know. And I already knew she had a good body, you can tell. But some guys don't get that. And so he thought she'd have a good body, and then he just lost his shorts once. And, oh my God. And so he literally sabotaged potentially his whole business, definitely maybe his relationship, because he got so turned on by her nudes.
But the Riz, you'd almost think like you are just making this stuff up to act like the worst player ever, right? I mean, just the worst. I got to get flood insurance.
He definitely has the worst sex talk I've ever heard. I'm like, it did sound like it should be like in a movie, like as a joke. Like in one of those spoof movies where they say the most ridiculous things.
Well, what about this
scary
though?
Movies? Something.
This is going to get picked up, but you know H3H3, Ethan Klein? Huge podcast, huge.
No.
10 times bigger than Long Cow Live. He must know that Ethan Klein is going to review The Call, right?
Everyone's on this.
I mean, but that's like 30K concurrent. Watch Ethan Klein. And he's been needling and ball busting Keemstar for like a decade now.
I know anybody that does it. He's just like literally like opened himself totally to a can of worms too, because it shows how inappropriate he is always. This isn't like a one-time thing. So anybody that ever said he was inappropriate and like maybe people didn't believe that girl or whoever, is like, oh no, they were right, because he just like showed that is so wrong what he was saying. Like, and on so many levels, like the retard stuff, that is so wrong. Like, I don't know many girls that are even going to be that attracted to him now, where it's like, that's not what you think you can say to like a girl. That's
a literally retarded girl says like, that feels degrading, and you're like, hey, let's lean into it. I mean,
it definitely didn't give him brownie points on any level.
I mean, if you're like walking off the short bus and you're like, you know what I mean, wiping your dick off. And
I know, like, it's ridiculous. It's like, dude, stay out of the Special Olympics for when you're looking for chicks. This is ridiculous.
And I agree with you about like, if you want to have sex with a physically disabled person, and I know that can get weird or whatever, no problem. But mentally disabled, and then you're
like
gonna.
I said, there are varying levels, but like definitely him calling her that right there.
Right.
That's like, it doesn't matter what else, anything else. Literally, the rest of the conversation is pretty much told by like you called her a retard, and she said that she felt degraded by that, and you continued to do it. Too.
Right. But what I'm saying is, maybe in some sense, he's just doing it for the content. Like, he's going to be like the lol.
I don't think this is anything, because I think Keemstar thinks he looks cool, and I think he thinks everyone else looks lame.
No way.
But this does not make him look cool. Do you see what I'm saying? So I don't think this is what he wanted. I think this was a slip up of him being so turned on by seeing Lynx nudes, and he was a little bit drunk or whatever, and called her, and then it got out of hand because there's a little bit of I think she was a little bit enticing him, but she has a right to do that because she can call him. You know,
sure,
what I mean?
She's in a position of power, yeah.
But like, and she no longer even works for him anymore.
No, I think you're right to say he's sabotaging. He's sabotaging.
Yeah,
there's no pussy good enough for that. There's no. I mean,
true, yeah.
He's in his 40s. You don't have the same.
But guys do get caught up when they're a little bit intoxicated. You know what I mean? And that's when they normally do make the stupidest.
But see, I think what comes out when people are drunk is who they really are. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What it comes out is everyone is sexual.
What they
want to do. Are repressing it. Yeah. So he clearly is at the hots for Lynx for a long time, a long time. And that came out, and that's why there's no saying to Brantley, "Oh, this was a one-time thing." It's so obvious. He clearly is.
But let me say, I understand this. We've thought this too. He's not cheating on Brantley. Brantley is a lesbian dom.
Yes, and Grace did say that, but here's the thing,
no. They go out and predate on females, and
I know, and I do that, and I get that, and I've done that for guys too.
He doesn't want to do it.
And I've done, but here's the thing: when a girl, most girls, I will argue, most girls will not say this is true, but I will say most girls are a little bit bisexual because we are very attracted to each other. And sexually, we are very turned on by each other because women are beautiful.
Yeah, I know.
And everyone finds women beautiful, both women and men. But a lot of times, sexually, women need a man. So a lot of times a woman, like I will say I am more attracted to women, but I need a man. So like, but I would say I'm a lesbian and I do like threesomes and I will, seek out, but normally it's because I want to please a guy.
Yeah, I
It's
totally
never
agree.
like,
I
what I
totally
mean? And
think that.
so
I
if
think
he
that's
fully
95%
doesn't
of the
like
time
it,
true.
she would not be into it. So like he's
I agree.
pretending he doesn't like it. You know what I mean?
95% of the time, I agree that women do that stuff to turn their man on, and they're like sort of into it, but like ultimately they're oriented towards a man. But in 5% of cases, and I think this is the case, it's flipped, and he does it for her.
Well,
So I'm not
and
saying
here's
she's a lesbian, but like,
here's the thing that's going to look bad on him. Often, if a woman is in need of that, it means her guy is not well endowed. And so he's not satisfying her. So she's hoping maybe to get some toys or something like that. So it can sometimes look bad because he tried to say how big his cock is, but usually means it's not when a guy brags. I'll tell you what, most guys with big cocks don't ever tell you. And the guys with little ones say they have big ones. And then they don't want to actually show it ever.
I think Keemstar actually, I wouldn't argue one way or the other. I just don't think he's confident as a man. I don't think it matters what size dick you have, but like I don't. But
I'll tell you one thing: confidence comes out of dick size. I'll tell you that. So like, very confident men have a good size dick. Not a huge, but very insecure men often have a very small one. Because that's a very important part for a man.
It can't. You can have confidence with a small dick too, and you can have a lack of confidence with a big dick. If you watch John Holmes porn, you could have a 9-incher and you're like, I feel insecure. You know what I mean?
Oh, yes. No, you can be insecure with a big one. But what I'm saying is a lot of times, it's not, nothing is ever 100%.
Right.
But often what creates insecurity in men is them not feeling confident with their dick in some way. You know what I mean? So like if they gained a confidence, like you said, if it's small and they somehow gain confidence, there are guys with little dicks that are like going around think they're so confident with this little willy, and you're like, but that's more rare. And those guys, that's good. They did find that confidence, but often guys will, determine their confidence by the size of their cock. And so when you see a guy so insecure and then he's bragging how big it is, it makes me think it's not, where I normally wouldn't have even had an opinion on it.
Yeah. If you're confident, you don't talk about your dick size. Or if you do, you just say like it's incredibly tiny.
You can just say you'll be satisfied. You don't have to talk about how, and just his level of like, oh, you're going to be squirting all over basically. It's just like, honestly, in my experience, usually when people talk like that, they're not that good with sex. Like that's a funny thing.
Right. Because a man's not going to talk about how he's going to fuck a woman on the phone.
If anything, it's less about talking. Way less about talking. It's more about like how you touch a woman, not like, oh, I'm gonna give it to you like this. Women don't. There's a little bit of like sexual talk that can be flirty, but like a lot of the talk that men think that's more for men. And you might hear it in the porns because it's a porn.
Men are more visceral. Like I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do. I have a gay guy that I talked to. I just started re-talking with him. And he was saying to me, like, I'll suck your dick anytime. If I was a woman, I'd fuck you. And my point is, if you were a woman, you wouldn't talk to me this way, which is kind of ironic because I would like to have a woman who could just be honest.
I know it's ironic.
It's gross.
It's weird thing. I feel, I don't know. I'm a little bit, people get mad at me because I am very traditional, weirdly enough, even though I do this job, because I do really feel that there's this thing in nature where like women want to have someone come towards them. You know what I mean? Be like come and try to seek me out. So when I feel even in this job, when I'm saying things like it feels out of my nature, even though I know it turns men on, so I will do it. But I almost feel I like when they're coming toward me, not more like, oh, I want to so bad do this and like beg, but men want you to do that, of course. So I get it. So it is one of those catch-22s a little bit. So.
Yeah, I mean, I believe it's like the yin yang in the sense that like a masculine man has a way in which he every once in a while likes to lay back, let's just say, and let her do the work. Exactly. But overall, women don't like a guy like who's always doing that because there's a natural, you know what I mean?
No, in my job, I do most of the work because that's what they're hiring me for. So I get most of it do just lay back. But yeah, if that was the situation always in my regular life, it'd be pretty boring, if like it was like, because it is a lot of work for girls. Like, guys don't realize a lot of positions are a lot of work, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so
yeah.
we do have a little more fun sometimes when we're just like laying there because it's more relaxing. But you don't want to be what they call like a dead fish, the girl that just like lays there.
But now,
does
but now
nothing,
I'm
and so
curious. Are you ever with married men? I'm not asking for any specific details. Did you ever?
100%.
Okay.
And what was it?
Do they ever say not to tell the missus, but then they kind of want it to come out?
They
I
have
wonder-
I've never had anybody straight say that to me. What men will say is, I need to be discreet. So
Right.
it'll be more like, don't let my coworkers see. But usually in this job, unless the girl is a scammer, there's just kind of like that code of ethic that you don't ever
No,
contact
but I
me.
mean,
When
are
get
there
contacted-
guys who kind of like? I'm just wondering. I don't understand the Keemstar thing. You say it's because he was horny for Lynx. This guy's got tons of money.
I know, but the thing is,
He's
it's
had
one of
tons of
those things.
experience.
Okay,
You
okay,
can't-
but I
your
will
dick
say, I don't
can't
know if
be
you've
that
ever
hard.
experienced this since you were a boss, but there can be like this slight, like sort of like sexual kind of tension that grows like throughout all the time of working together. And so when he finally saw her photos, it's probably more significant than just like seeing anybody's photos. You know what I'm saying? So I think that did
Yes.
kind of get him a little bit of panties in a twist, I like to say. But no, I do think he's definitely on a self-sabotage because for one thing, I think he's tired of doing his show. His show is retarded. His show is retarded. Speaking
Right,
of,
and I
mean,
think
I know
that
you shouldn't
that
say that
camp
word.
was his last gasp. I think they didn't make any money. It was exhausting, and you know what I mean. Like he had to leave. He had to leave early because we were in the same town as him. I mean, he took a huge L, and I think he's like, yeah, he's blowing it up at this point.
Well, the problem is he's not ever going to quit because it is making him money, but it's not making him happy. Like his show. I mean, I would hate doing that show every day, especially the noises alone with their stupid tips, the things that come in. But like, I know they get a lot of money, but just the way they do it is annoying with their like sirens or whatever. Every day I'd be like irritated.
Yeah, right. It's like a weird kind of almost 7 days a week, like 7 hours a day. He's listening.
Yeah, I know. It's like a
in.
real commitment he has. Like, this is not like we're the kind of like I don't know how much you guys do, but like with us, we just kind of have fun with this. We do make some money on it, but like when you make it just a full-on job, there's no fun with YouTube because it can be really exhausting dealing with these people 24/7. Especially
I think he found himself like taking on more than he can't stop from micromanaging everything. And so instead of delegating and saying, okay, well, sink or swim, but it's on you, he jumps in every time to save people. He's like a bad dad who never lets his kids like skin their knee, you know what I mean? Because he's constantly worried about them.
No, he has no life too because all he does is talk to these people all day long.
Right,
I can see that. Like that's like his whole life is this show, and that's why so. For him and Brantley, they don't even have much of a life. It's just like it's all circled around this show. So deep down, she might be sabotaging the show too because she wants.
But I don't think that Keemstar is really into pussy. I just don't think that's true at all. I think he's comes across very, very sugar in the tank. I'm not saying he's gay, but like I just don't really think he's like he threw his whole life away because he saw Lynx nude. I feel like
it's just like like a series of things happening. Like because like I think like you said, like Brantley probably let out the dog because deep down she's sabotaging, and they probably should break up. They probably don't like being together. And
can you imagine? It's almost like can you imagine the psychological? So they're in this. It's a big house, but it's in the middle of nowhere, and they're not connected with the community.
Oh, I didn't know. I thought they lived like in the city.
No. They're out like the outskirts of upstate New York. Like it's in the middle of nowhere. It's on his brother's property. It's isolated and they're antisocial. They don't know how to interact with people. Yeah, so all day long, there's no kids. There's no, you know what I mean? So you're in this big house and you're sitting there tweeting and you know what I mean? And twittering and, but there's no love between them. And then this dog is there and it's annoying. And they're all into power, so it reminds me of the film The Shining with Jack.
Oh gosh, no way! He's like there typing in nothing on the paper. Leave me alone, Brantley.
It gets crazy because your whole life is being led online, and you have no life outside of it. There are they have a physically a nice place, but I don't think they actually ever go outside and they don't interact with people.
Well, what I was just going to say, New York is very difficult. If you're not in the city, the weather is just not fun in New York.
Right.
Like, there are nice days, but they're so rare. And especially where they are.
I think that movie took place in upstate New York, somewhere like that.
And it's
right?
just not pleasant so many days to go outside in New York. That's what finally killed me when we lived there for a year. Like 3 months of like just not really getting to go outside at all. I remember
you get the lake effect, snow and then rain. It's always
it just becomes dreary for like months on months, and like where it's just like so unpleasant to go outside, but you're like stuck inside, so you want to go outside, and as soon as you get outside, you're like, oh, this is unpleasant, and it's not as unpleasant as other places, so you almost are not as prepared for it. Like some place like Chicago could be colder, other places, you know, but New York's almost like, oh, it should be okay, but then you're like, it's just not.
Yeah.
And then there's the days that are so nice that are deceitful because you're like, oh, it's just so nice, but they're few and far between.
I just think if you have a big house and you're a man and a woman living as partners, like you should have kids, or if you don't, you should have like the equivalent maybe in church or something, you know, but you just can't be sitting there freaking out on Twitter all day.
For one thing, they should be living in like Brooklyn or
exactly right, where you have a community that's
if they're already in New York, because I mean New York's expensive because normally they don't live in New York. But if you're already in New York, live somewhere at least closer, you know, to the city. Brooklyn's cool, or even Long Island. It's better than being way the heck out there.
Yeah, I agree.
That you could go to the city more often.
I agree. Oh, okay, go ahead.
Anyway,
nice talking.
Nice talking to you. I guess I'll let you get back to your show. I've been up on here the whole time, so thanks for having me on.
I just wanted to ask you.
If you wanted to still talk to me, sure, I'll talk to you guys.
Sure. And then I'll let you go. This is
I didn't want to. I felt like I was taking over your show.
Joy from Healthy Family Force on YouTube, by the way, also has been someone who's experienced the Ava the G effect of having a nasty little troll try to fuck with you.
Ava hates me.
I've been DMing with someone interesting who shall go unnamed on Discord, but it's just somebody laying out Lynx's legal case, and I just do think it's interesting that it's really actually like the disability part is more of a moral / optics L, but if you look at it in terms of, and there's a specific clip that I wanted to play. If you look at it in terms of an employer kind of dangling reemployment over an ex-employee's head if they perform certain sexual requests, it does become a clear violation of like standard workplace ethics. And this is a specific little clip I just wanted to play really quick.
About what was going on. He then propositioned.
Keem is he, by the way, and I think this is before the phone call.
That if I were on, he then propositioned that if I worked really hard for the next few months and proved myself, that I would be able to come back. I don't know if that was like a manipulation thing or if he was serious. I don't know. There was a point where he said, at one point, we'll exchange fluids. This whole thing is a mess. Oh
no, so it was after the call.
He said we'll exchange fluids. Oh my God.
Mm-hmm. He said we'll exchange fluids at some point. Yeah, he did say that.
The thing is for one thing, the fact if any way she can prove that he was trying to make her do a sexual act for any sort of money, that right there makes it illegal. Like, so he cannot proposition her to do that because then he's making her be a prostitute.
True. It's not exactly a clear, like, hey, if you suck my dick, I'll give you your job back.
I think in this scenario, the lawyer will say that's obviously what he was saying. We're going to.
I agree. I agree.
But what
I
agree.
agree.
That's not the case.
Well, when you say like, oh, you know, if you work really hard, you know, we might have you back, and then you call the person who you said that to, and you start talking sexually with them, there's an implication there. I'm sorry. And there's also an implication that if you don't respond sexually, you're not getting your job back.
Oh yeah, there's no thing where she can just say, I don't feel comfortable with this and don't ever talk to me like that. Then he would say, probably, then I don't want you back. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's kind of being like, you have to be allowed to be okay with this flirty thing that we're doing.
Yeah, it's the proverbial, like, dangling carrot. Like, I'm dangling your job back. And it wasn't, you know, you could say, oh, it wasn't a real job or whatever. She got paid for several months, and it was a significant income. It was, like, in the thousands. And
but like I said, in any level where if he paid her for work, but here's the thing, whether it doesn't matter if like she had a contract with him or anything like that. If he paid her for work and now he's trying to, in a way, say, in order to keep getting paid, you have to do sexual favors, then that right there, like, that's no. And that's what he's implying, because he's saying we're going to exchange fluids and things like that. So he's saying, like, we basically, to make me happy, we're going to have to do these things. And you're going to have to work hard to make me happy.
Exactly. Listen to this at the end of the call too, right? And so I know for a fact that this is the way he talked to her when she was employed by him. Listen to this.
And then send new nudes in the morning.
Oh, okay.
That's the task.
That's the task.
One thing, girls have a right to...
Yes, I know for sure he used that language when she was working for him. You know, do XYZ for the stream, for the show, for whatever. That's your task. I know.
For one thing, nowadays, with things like OnlyFans, he has no right to ever make a girl send nudes for free, for one thing. Do you get what I'm saying? Like that.
Correct, yeah.
Saying on any level, because girls have a right to charge for that nowadays. You know, we got girls do charge for those things. So him saying, as your employer, you are required to send me nudes on any level, whether she felt comfortable with him or not, like, well, you need to pay me, but then right there, then that's not right in for pay her. So like, there's no ever okay time for you to be sending nudes to bosses. Like that is never.
I mean, he's not her employer at this time, but combined with this proposition where she says, like, if you work hard for the next couple months, you'll get your job. You might get your job back. Combined with him saying your new task is to send me nudes. I really do think that it, you know, she doesn't, here's the thing, right? She doesn't, I understand that like legal stuff can be scary. I bitch about it all the time. I like don't want to do it. But speaking of which, I have some certified mail to send, so I'm going to hop off soon. I'll let you go.
Okay. And I want to say one thing though, that in her defense that she can say, when I got sexually harassed at my job, at a regular job, it did make me say, why am I doing a regular job when I'm just going to be sexually harassed all day? Why don't I just do a sex work job? Because it does start to be like, why am I putting up with this? So if she is now looking into doing sex work, that is part of her lawsuit too, because she can say, I was so irritated with having to deal with this on a regular job that I said, F it, I'm just going to get into sex work. So all these things are going to look really bad on him. Do you know what I'm saying? Because he made it so uncomfortable of a situation for her that she'd rather go into sex work. All those things are going to look really bad.
That's a good point. I didn't think about that. Yeah. All right, Joy. Well, I'll let you go.
Thank you. All right.
Joy from Healthy Family Force.
Okay, catch y'all later. I had fun. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for coming on.